It's a good idea, Dale. Oh, howdy ho, officer. We've had a doozy of a day. There we were minding our own business, just doing some chores around the house when kids started killing themselves all over my property.
Well, that's what happened, Tucker.
He would have to be a moron to believe that, Dale. It doesn't matter what happened. What matters is what looks like what happened. And what looks like what happened is pretty nasty.
Howdy everyone, it's me, Singing Guy. So over the weekend I saw a couple movies, both of which I enjoyed, though for different reasons, and I would like to review them both for you today. The first one, as you might have been able to tell from the clip at the beginning, was Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Now this movie actually intrigued me when I first saw the trailer, because it looked like an interesting take on the usual horror genre. The main story is that Tucker and Dale are two hillbillies who get this cabin in the woods and go to clean it up around the same time that a group of college kids are camping. When one of these college students falls and almost drowns, she's rescued by the two hillbillies, but her friends think that she has in fact been captured. So the college kids all try to get her back, and almost every single one of them end up inadvertently killing themselves because they're kind of stupid. As I mentioned, this is a very interesting take on the horror genre, simply because there's no real killer here. The college students think that it's Tucker and Dale who's killing everybody, but they're really just innocent bystanders in all this. This movie is funny for that very reason. Also, this movie helped me realize that Alan Tudyk can pretty much do anything. One of the topics that this movie addresses is the idea of imagining others complexly. That's not necessarily something you'd expect from a movie called Dale and Tucker vs. Evil and starring Alan Tudyk as a hillbilly. But the reasoning that the college students think that Dale and Tucker are so evil is because when they first met them, they came off as a little...
Going camping?
creepy. But of course they're not. They just came off that way because these students really didn't take any time to get to know them in any way. Except Allison, of course. Allison is the girl who almost drowns, incidentally. I will say that there are a few moments in this movie that things get a little too serious. There were a few moments where I kind of stopped and said, wait, this is a comedy, isn't it? They've treated it like a comedy throughout the entire thing, and now all of a sudden they're not. But those moments never lasted all that long, so it wasn't that much of a distraction, and the movie overall is still pretty hilarious. Though I will warn you, there is quite a lot of blood in it, so if you are at all squeamish about that kind of thing, this is probably not the movie for you. And now we'll move on to the second movie, and I'll go ahead and show you a clip from that now.
You are the Christ, you're the great Jesus Christ. Prove to me that you're divine. Change my water into wine. That's all you need do. Then I'll know it's all true. Come on, King of the Jews.
In case you couldn't tell from that clip, the next movie that I watched was Jesus Christ Superstar. Before I continue, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. This is not a good musical. For one thing, it's a rock opera, but even looking past that, this is not a good musical. In fact, this is probably one of the worst musicals I have ever seen. Incidentally, before I continue, again, I should let you know that if you don't know the story of Jesus, you shouldn't continue because I'm going to be spoiling it. I'm also technically going to be spoiling the end of Jesus Christ Superstar, but since it's basically the story of Jesus, then you should already know what happened, and yada yada yada, etc., etc. So, why did I enjoy this so much? Well, it's hilarious. And I really don't think that the director or the actors or Andrew Lloyd Webber was trying to make this hilarious, but it's still pretty hilarious. First of all, the actor who plays Jesus basically looks like he's stoned throughout the whole thing. There are several moments in the movie where I was convinced that he wasn't actually in the scene at the time, even though he physically was. Also, there's just constant mood swings. I'm actually kind of convinced that this movie is bipolar. For instance, do you remember that clip that I showed you earlier? Well, that's from a scene that happens right before Jesus' trial, convicting him to being crucified. That's right. The whole peppy, happy, cheerful number happened right before Jesus was sentenced to death. Okay. Speaking of crucifixion, that's the next scene I'm going to talk about. So, Jesus gets sentenced to be crucified, and then this happens. Okay. I admit it's a little odd that they skipped over crucifixion and apparently aren't right to the ascension, but, you know, I think it can be a strong choice. I think if they stick with it, it'll be fine.
Every time I look at you, I don't understand.
Or Judas can drop down on the North Star and start singing. Okay. Fine, you know, whatever, if that's what you want to go with. Yeah, sure.
I wanna know.
Jesus Christ, who are you, what have you sacrificed?
So this is kind of an odd scene, but, you know, I suppose, again, Jesus is ascended into heaven with Judas and angels. I mean, that's kind of obvious, so... Okay. Okay, so musical dance number. Oh, no, he's carrying the cross. Okay, well, fine. No, back to the musical number. Okay, well, interesting. Okay, but still... Oh, no, now we're back to the hill again. Okay, no, right back to the musical number. Okay, fine. Interesting choice yet again, but okay, great. No, now oh, he's struggling under the weight. Okay, oh no, now we have hip swivel. Okay, that's now she's sad to Mary Magdalene. Okay, now we're back. Oh, wait, stop! What the hell am I watching? I mean, is this really what people think of when they think crucifixion? I'm confused. So, yeah, there's a lot to be frustrated about when I was watching this, but overall, really, I found it hilarious. It's one of those movies that I finished watching and I just had to sit there for a second and remind myself that I had just seen this. And this is definitely not something that I'm going to go out and buy, and it's not something I'm going to recommend you go out and buy. If you happen to have a Netflix account, then I would advise getting the DVD or having it stream and watch it that way, but definitely don't go out and buy it. It's really not worth your money. So, that's the two movies that I watched over the weekend. If you've seen either of these, I'm curious as to what you think of them, so let me know down in the comments. And that is all from me. So, remember, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Just as a very brief PS, in case you're wondering why I'm sitting in this chair and not my usual one, it broke. See ya.